Hardware can be categorized into two further categories. And the first is the computer. That's the box that we see. Might be referred to as a desktop or a tower, or I like to call it a unit. Some people like to call it a CPU, but I don't like to call it a CPU because that can confuse people with the more precise meaning of CPU, Central Processing Unit, or the processor, which we'll look at in much more detail in a future video. The other subcategory that we can place on hardware is peripherals, and those are all the things that we can attach to our computer, such as monitors, keyboards, mice, printers, etc. Peripherals, the things we attach to computers, can be divided into three further categories: input devices, output devices, and storage devices. Input devices are the bits of hardware that we use to input things into the computer. There's the two most commonly used, keyboard and mouse. The way I like to remember input devices, well, some people will say that they will type stuff up, but I'll say that I'm going to type things in to a computer, and that helps me remember it's an input device if we use the word in. Another example of an input device is a scanner for getting pictures into our computer, and we always say that we're going to scan something in. There's another example of an input device, a graphics tablet, and whatever we draw on that tablet appears on our screen, doesn't it? So we're putting our drawing into the computer. Output devices, these show us information, they show us what the computer has done. So the most commonly used one is the monitor, and a large version of a monitor might be a whiteboard. This is an easy one to remember, the printer. We always say we're going to print stuff out, aren't we? It's an output device. Another example where we don't actually see something happening but we hear it is speakers. We get sound out of speakers. A commonly overlooked output device might be the motor, where a computer makes the motor do something, the motor gives off energy and can operate something such as a washing machine, keep our clothes nice and clean. The third category is storage devices. We need to be able to store data and store files once a computer has been switched off, and that's what storage devices are for. So an example of a storage device is a hard drive, but a hard drive is an internal component of a computer, so it's not a peripheral. An external hard drive would be an example of peripheral. Other storage devices might be things like DVDs or CDs, USB data sticks, or even SD cards. There are misconceptions about certain devices and certain peripherals as to which category, input, output, storage, they should fit into. The webcam, for instance. Lots of people believe a webcam is an output device because we get our image from it, but we don't, because the image actually appears, doesn't it, on a monitor. The webcam, our image goes into the webcam and into the computer. Other misconceptions might surround things such as smartphones, tablet PCs, or even interactive whiteboards. We can see that the man using the interactive whiteboard is actually writing on it. So, does that make it an output device or an input device? And it's the same with a smartphone or a tablet PC. What category do they actually fit into? Input, output, or storage? Have a think about that.